Welcome, dear listener, to the world asleep. Tonight, we begin a journey high into the Andes Mountains, where stone meets cloud and where history lingers like mist upon the peaks. This is the story of Machu Picchu, the lost citadel of the Incas, resting quietly above a river that winds endlessly below. For centuries, the stones of this sacred place have stood in silence, wrapped in cloud forest and crowned by jagged summits. Some call it a wonder of the world, others a mystery, but here, beneath the moon and stars, it becomes something else entirely, a dream made of stone and sky. As we wander slowly through terraces and temples, forests and legends, we will learn of the people who built this sanctuary, the myths that gave it spirit, and the nature that surrounds it still. Our pace will be gentle, our steps unhurried, as we allow this place to reveal itself like dawn rising from behind the mountains. And though we are connected across distance, this story unites us beneath the same sky. If you feel moved to share where in the world you are listening, you may leave a quiet note in the comments below, a constellation of resting souls gathered here together. And if you wish to return to more journeys like this one, you may gently subscribe to The World Asleep. Now, let us begin our climb. The air grows thin, the forest hums softly, and the mist parts slowly to reveal the timeless sanctuary of Machu Picchu. Chapter 1: The Sacred Mountain Ridge. High in the Andes of Peru, above deep river valleys and jagged peaks, rests a place unlike any other. Machu Picchu is often called the lost city of the Incas, but before it was lost, it was simply alive stone walls warmed by the sun, terraces green with crops, water flowing in channels carved with precision. From afar, it is almost invisible. The citadel blends into the ridge, hidden by forests, embraced by mountains. Mist drifts across the stones, sometimes revealing, sometimes concealing, so that the city seems to breathe. To stand here is to feel suspended neither fully earth nor fully sky, but balanced between them. Machu Picchu rises on a narrow ridge between two peaks, Huayna Picchu, the younger mountain, and Machu Picchu itself, the elder. Together they cradle the citadel, their steep cliffs falling away to the Urubamba River far below. The river bends around the ridge in a great curve, as though embracing the city, its waters rushing endlessly, white with foam, singing against stone. Geologists tell us that these mountains are born of tectonic collision, the mighty push of plates that raised the Andes skyward millions of years ago. Granite forms the bones of the land, hard and enduring, shaped by fault lines and erosion into cliffs, ridges and terraces. It is this granite that the Inca shaped into temples and homes, fitting stones together so closely that centuries of rain and earthquakes have not pulled them apart. The air here is unlike any other, thin, crisp, yet heavy with moisture. Clouds rise from the forest below, curling around peaks, drifting across the terraces. At times, the city vanishes completely, hidden in white. Then, just as suddenly, the mist parts and Machu Picchu appears radiant, as though newly born. The weather changes quickly. One moment the sun glows warm, illuminating the stone with golden light. The next, rain falls in gentle sheets, drumming softly against stone, filling channels that carry water through the site. Rainbows arc across the valley, their colors bright against the dark green of the forest. At night, the atmosphere transforms again. Stars pierce the thin air, brilliant and close, their light unshaken by haze. The silhouette of the mountains sharpens against the sky, and the ruins rest in shadow, their silence deepened by the rushing of the river below. Surrounding the citadel is the cloud forest, lush, dripping, alive. This is not the high-altitude, barren land of snow-capped peaks, but a humid, fertile realm where orchids bloom and mosses cling to every surface. Ferns arch over paths, bromeliads grow from tree branches, and vines coil upward toward light. Birds fill the forest with color, hummingbirds flashing emerald and sapphire, tanagers glowing with red and gold. Their wings beat quickly, a reminder of life's vibrancy even in the stillness of stone. Sometimes, a rare Andean cock of the rock appears, its plumage a fiery orange, its call echoing through the trees. The forest feels eternal, yet always shifting mist rising, leaves trembling, water dripping from branch to stone. To walk through it is to step into a dream, each sound softened, each sight luminous. What strikes many who visit Machu Picchu is not noise, but silence. Even with the rush of the river below, the calls of birds, the whisper of wind, there is a greater stillness that surrounds the place. It is the silence of mountains that have watched for millennia, of stones that have endured beyond memory. This silence does not feel empty. It feels full of presence, of waiting, of quiet watchfulness. To sit among the terraces as mist curls upward is to feel accompanied, though no one may be near. Machu Picchu's location is no accident. The ridge is remote, protected by steep cliffs and the bending river. From below, the citadel is nearly invisible, hidden by its perch and the thick forest. This isolation gave it safety, and perhaps also sanctity. The Incas understood mountains not as obstacles, but as beings apus, sacred spirits dwelling in peaks. To build here was not only to find shelter, but to place the city in communion with the divine. The ridge, narrow and high, became a bridge between earth and heaven. As you sit here in imagination, picture yourself upon one of the stone terraces. The air is cool, damp with mist. The stones beneath you are rough, yet steady. Before you, clouds drift through the valley, rising and dissolving. Beyond them, jagged peaks cut into the sky, their forms sharp against the horizon. The world feels distant, no voices of cities, no hum of machines, no burden of time. Only stone, mountain, river, and sky. Only silence, presence, and peace. Here, in this city above the clouds, the ordinary rhythm of life falls away. You are no longer bound to minutes and hours. You are carried instead into the rhythm of mountains, of rivers, of stars. A rhythm vast and patient, older than memory, enduring beyond measure. And so, we have seen the ridge itself, the bones of the Andes, the clouds that veil and reveal, the forests alive with color, the silence that holds it all. But to truly know Machu Picchu, we must step into the stones, into the terraces and temples, into the lives that once filled this place with voice and movement. In the next chapter, let us imagine life among the clouds, the daily rhythms of farming and prayer, the flowing of water through carved channels, the harmony between stone and sky that made this citadel a living sanctuary. Chapter 2. Life among the clouds. To step into Machu Picchu is to step into a world that once pulsed with life. Though the stone walls stand in silence now, once they echoed with voices, with footsteps on terraces, with the splash of water moving through channels. The citadel was not merely a stronghold or a monument, it was a living place, sustained by ingenuity and devotion. From a distance, Machu Picchu seems a single crown of stone upon a ridge, but within it is a carefully woven tapestry of structures, paths, and gardens. Every terrace, every channel, every doorway was planned with care. The Inca were builders, yes, but more than that, they were harmonizers, weaving human life into the fabric of mountain and sky. The most striking feature of the city, after its temples, are its terraces. Carved into the steep slopes, they ripple down the mountainside like giant steps, green with grasses and crops. These terraces were not only practical, they were essential. The Incas transformed the ridge itself into farmland, ensuring that life could flourish even high above the valley floor. Each terrace was a marvel of engineering, stone retaining walls holding back the slope, layers of gravel and soil designed for drainage, channels carrying water where it was needed. Crops such as maize and potatoes grew here, nourished by the sun and mist, feeding those who lived above the clouds. Today, the terraces stand mostly as green steps for visitors to admire. But if you pause and imagine, you may hear the soft rustle of maize in the breeze, the quiet movement of farmers tending their rows, the gentle rhythm of life sustained by stone and earth. No city can endure without water, and the Incas ensured that Machu Picchu would never thirst. From springs higher on the mountain, they channeled fresh water into stone conduits, guiding it carefully through the citadel. These channels still exist, and when the rains fall, you can hear them singing softly as water moves along its ancient path. Fountains collected the flow, offering basins for drinking and for ritual cleansing. The movement of water through stone is not only functional, it feels sacred, a reminder of the Incas' reverence for balance. To stand beside one of these fountains is to feel connected to centuries of life. Generations once gathered here, cupping water in their hands, pausing in gratitude before continuing their tasks. The sound of water, constant and clear, was the heartbeat of the citadel. Within the walls of Machu Picchu stand the remains of homes. Their thatched roofs are gone, but the stone foundations remain doorways aligned to the sun, windows opening toward the mountains. Families lived here, their lives woven into the greater pattern of the city. The houses were simple, yet built with precision, their stones fitted tightly without mortar. The craftsmanship endures even now, weathered but strong. Inside, you may imagine the warmth of a fire, the presence of children, the soft murmur of voices as night descended. Though the ruins may seem silent, they are not empty. Each wall holds memory, each stone carries a trace of the lives once sheltered within. The Incas were not only farmers and builders, they were astronomers, their eyes turned as often to the sky as to the earth. At Machu Picchu, many structures align with celestial events. The most famous of these is the Intihuatana stone, the hitching post of the Sunday. This carved pillar of stone is thought to have been used to track the sun's movement, marking solstices and equinoxes. On certain days of the year, the sun stands directly above it, casting no shadow. In that moment, earth and sky are joined, time itself marked in stone. The Temple of the Sun, too, reveals this union. Its window aligns perfectly with the rising sun of the solstice, filling the chamber with golden light. To the Incas, these moments were not mere curiosities. They were sacred, signs of harmony between the heavens and their lives below. Daily life at Machu Picchu was practical, but it was also spiritual. The Incas did not separate the two. Farming was a form of devotion, tending the land with gratitude. Water was sacred, its flow a blessing. Even the act of building was ritual, aligning stones with mountains, aligning homes with stars. It is believed that Machu Picchu was not a city for all, but a sanctuary perhaps for nobility, priests, or chosen attendants. Some suggest it was a royal retreat, others a ceremonial site, others still a place of pilgrimage. Whatever its purpose, life here was bound to rhythm, the rhythm of planting and harvest, of solstice and equinox, of dawn and dusk upon the ridge. Imagine now that you are within the citadel as night descends. The day's labor is done, and fires flicker in the homes. The air cools quickly, mist gathering once more around the stones. Familles settle, voix se finissent. Beyond the ridge, the river continues its endless song. Above, the stars emerge, brilliant in the thin air. The constellations are different here, shaped into llamas, condors, and serpents by Inca eyes. The Milky Way arches overhead like a river of light, reflecting the Urubamba far below. In this moment, life feels suspended: stone, fire, water, and sky bound together in harmony. The city rests, as you rest, held gently between mountain and star. Though Machu Picchu now lies in ruins, its memory is not lost. Each terrace, each channel, each temple speaks still of its builders. To walk through it, even in imagination, is to join them for a moment, to share in their devotion, their ingenuity, their reverence. And though centuries have passed, the citadel remains a place of presence. It has endured storms, earthquakes, abandonment, rediscovery. Still it stands, its stones steady, its terraces green, its silence alive. Life among the clouds was not ordinary life. It was life lived in awareness of the sacred, life shaped by harmony with mountain and sky. Every wall, every terrace, every fountain was an offering, a gesture of belonging. And yet, these stones were not built merely to endure. They were built to connect the people with the heavens, with the river, with the spirits of the peaks. From here, the path leads deeper still, not only into daily life, but into the heart of devotion. For Machu Picchu was not simply a home or a retreat. It was a sanctuary where ritual and spirit shaped the very stones. Let us walk now into the sacred heart of the citadel, where temples rise toward the sun, and where the silence of the mountain becomes a prayer. Chapter 3: The Spiritual Heart. There is a difference between stones placed to build and stones placed to pray. At Machu Picchu, the two are one and the same. Every stone wall, every terrace, every carved chamber is not only functional, it is spiritual. The Incas believed that the world was alive, filled with sacred presence. Mountains, rivers, the very stones themselves were infused with spirit. To walk through Machu Picchu is to feel this conviction. The stones are fitted so precisely that no blade of grass slips between them, as though they grew from the earth in this perfect form. They stand not as cold walls, but as living entities, each carrying the breath of the sacred. Among the most revered places in the citadel is the Temple of the Sunday. It stands in a graceful curve of stone, its walls shaped to follow the natural contours of the bedrock. Within, a sacred stone altar rests. The temple was built with extraordinary precision. One of its windows faces east, aligned with the rising sun at the solstice. On that morning, golden light pours through, striking the altar, illuminating the chamber in brilliance. For the Incas, this was not chance. It was communion, the sun god Inti entering his temple, blessing the mountain and all who lived upon it. Even now, though the roof is gone and the city lies in ruins, you can stand before the temple and imagine the moment of dawn. The sun rising above the peaks, its first rays touching the stone, and the city stirring awake in golden silence. Perhaps the most famous feature of Machu Picchu is the Intihuatana stone. Its name means the hitching post of the Sunday. Carved with deliberate angles, this stone was used to track the movement of the heavens. At equinox, when the sun crosses the celestial line, the stone casts no shadow. It is as though the sun itself pauses, tethered for a moment to the earth. For the Incas, this was not only a tool of astronomy, It was a sacred act. To hitch the sun was to affirm their bond with the cosmos, to ensure balance, to live in rhythm with the celestial dance. The stone remains today, worn by centuries but still powerful in presence. Pilgrims often reach out to feel its surface, smooth beneath the hand, resonant in its quiet strength. Another temple takes form not in perfect stonework, but in natural rock itself. The Temple of the Condor is shaped by outcrops and carvings that, when seen together, form the wings of a condor in flight. The condor, in Inca belief, was a sacred messenger, a bridge between the world of humans and the heavens above. To stand here is to see myth take shape in stone, the wings spread wide, the bird forever taking flight. Perhaps ceremonies were held here, offerings placed upon the wings of rock. Or perhaps it was a place of reflection, where the people gazed upward to the circling birds and saw in them a mirror of their own longing for the divine. To the Incas, the world was not divided between the sacred and the ordinary. All was sacred. All was bound by a living order. They saw existence in three realms: Hanan Pacha, the upper world of the sun, moon, stars, and celestial beings; K Pacha, the middle world of humans, animals, and daily life; Uku Pacha, the inner world of the earth, of ancestors and hidden power. These realms were not distant, they touched and overlapped. The condor carried prayers upward to Hanan Pacha. The puma embodied strength in K Pacha. The serpent, coiling beneath the earth, represented Uku Pacha's mystery. At Machu Picchu, these realms converge. The mountains rise like stairways to heaven. The river cuts deep into the earth, and the city rests between them, balanced in the middle world. The Incas did not build here by chance. They chose this place because it embodied their cosmos, a bridge between sky, earth, and underworld. Life in Machu Picchu was not merely sustained by farming and water, it was shaped by ritual. Offerings were made to the gods, to the mountains, to the earth. Chicha, a fermented maize drink, was poured upon the ground in gratitude. Llamas were sacrificed in solemn ceremonies, their lives given to honor the spirits. These rituals were not acts of fear, but of reciprocity. The Incas believed in Aini sacred reciprocity, the balance of giving and receiving. Just as the earth gave crops, humans gave thanks. Just as the sun gave warmth, humans offered prayers. Life was sustained by this balance, by an endless exchange of gifts between human and divine. Most sacred of all were the mountains, the Apus. To the Incas, these towering peaks were living beings, guardians of the land. Each had its own spirit, its own character, its own power. Machu Picchu itself is embraced by such Apus. Huayna Picchu rising sharply to the north, Putucusi standing in rounded strength, and Salcante glimmering with snow in the distance. To live here was to live among giants, to feel their presence in every sunrise, every shadow, every roll of thunder across the valley. The Apus were not distant deities, they were neighbors, companions, protectors. Even today, many Quechua people still offer prayers and coca leaves to the Apus, continuing a lineage of reverence that has never broken. As you walk through Machu Picchu in imagination, you may notice that the whole citadel feels like a temple. Yes, there are sanctuaries of stone, the Temple of the Sun, the Temple of the Condor, the Intihuatana. But beyond these, the city itself is a sacred design. The terraces mirror the slopes of the mountains, the doorways align with stars, the fountains sing with flowing water. Every path, every chamber, every stone was part of a larger devotion. The city was not built upon the mountain. It was built with the mountain, as though the ridge itself dreamed it into being. Now, close your eyes and imagine night falling again upon this sacred heart. The terraces darken, the stones cool, the last rays of sun retreating from the peaks. Mist gathers once more, curling through the city, softening edges, blurring stone and sky. Above, the constellations of the Inca shine: the llama, the serpent, the condor. They do not glitter as abstract stars, but as living guides, watching, accompanying. The silence is vast, yet not empty. It hums with presence, with the breath of mountains, with the heartbeat of the river below. In this silence, you feel the truth of Machu Picchu. It is not merely a ruin, it is a sanctuary, it is a bridge, it is a heart that still beats quietly, steadily, in rhythm with earth and sky. We have entered the sacred heart of the citadel, where stones align with sun and stars, where mountains are guardians, and where ritual was woven into every breath of life. But Machu Picchu is also a story of time, not only the time of the Incas, but of discovery, of memory, of endurance. Let us now follow the thread of history outward from its sacred silence to the moment of rediscovery and the long journey of how the world came to know this citadel in the clouds. Chapter 4: The Rediscovery. For centuries after it was built, Machu Picchu stood quietly in the clouds, its terraces softening under moss, its temples wrapped in mist. The voices that once filled its homes fell silent, the fires cooled, the laughter of children, the chants of priests, the footsteps on stone all faded into memory. No one knows with certainty why the citadel was left behind. Some say it was abandoned when the Spanish conquistadors arrived in the 16th century, though they never found it. Others believe it was always meant to be remote, a royal estate or sanctuary withdrawn from the wider empire. Whatever the reason, the city was left to the guardianship of the mountains and the forest. The cloud forest moved in, its vines creeping across walls, its roots gripping terraces. Orchids bloomed among the stones, moss softened their edges, and hummingbirds darted through abandoned doorways. Machu Picchu did not crumble into nothingness, it transformed, becoming one with the land once more. Though hidden from the wider world, the site was never truly lost. Local Quechua farmers knew of the ruins, calling them by various names, living in their shadow, cultivating the fertile valleys below. They walked the terraces, grazed animals nearby, and carried with them stories of the place in quiet whispers. In their eyes, Machu Picchu was not a mystery. It was part of the land, a presence both ordinary and sacred. It was only to the outside world that the citadel remained unknown, waiting in silence until the time came for its reintroduction. That moment came in the summer of 1911, when an American explorer named Hiram Bingham led an expedition through the Urubamba Valley. He was searching for Vilcabamba, the last refuge of the Inca resistance against Spanish conquest. Guided by local farmers, he climbed the ridge, following narrow paths through thick vegetation. And there, through the tangle of vines and roots, he glimpsed stone. Terraces stepped down the slope, walls rose in silence, and the outlines of a city revealed themselves through the green. He had not found Vilcabamba, but something different, something far older, far more hidden. He had found Machu Picchu. Imagine that first moment of arrival, the mist parting, revealing walls too precise to be natural, terraces cascading in impossible order. The forest had claimed much, but the structure endured the lines of the city clear, the stones as tight as the day they were set. Bingham and his team cleared sections of vegetation, sketched the ruins, and photographed the site. Word spread across the world. Articles appeared in newspapers, photographs in magazines, and suddenly the lost city of the Incas captured the imagination of millions. For the modern world, it was a discovery. For the land and its people, it was a reawakening, the citadel stepping once more into sight. The rediscovery was not without complexity. Bingham's expedition removed artifacts, ceramics, tools, even human remains, and sent them to Yale University for study. For decades, they remained far from Peru, sparking debates and calls for their return. Only in the 21st century were many of these items repatriated, finding their way home to Cusco and the Sacred Valley. This tension reflects a broader truth. Machu Picchu is not simply an archaeological site, it is heritage, identity, memory. It belongs not to explorers or to distant museums, but to the mountains, to the Quechua people, to Peru itself. In the decades after Bingham's arrival, Machu Picchu became known across the globe. Travelers came by mule, then by train, then by bus, climbing the winding roads to glimpse the citadel in the clouds. Scholars studied its stones, seeking answers to its mysteries. Artists painted its terraces, poets wrote of its silence, musicians sang of its spirit. In 1983, UNESCO declared it a World Heritage Site. In 2007, it was named one of the new 7 wonders of the world. Yet, even as recognition grew, the mountain's silence endured. Visitors might number in the millions, but Machu Picchu itself remains unchanged stone resting in mist, patient, eternal. With fame came responsibility. The growing number of visitors brought both admiration and strain. Footsteps wore at the paths, humidity from countless breaths touched the stones, and the forest's delicate balance shifted under human presence. In response, Peru took steps to protect the site, limiting daily visitors, enforcing strict paths, and continuing efforts of restoration and preservation. The aim is not to freeze Machu Picchu in time, but to allow it to endure, to breathe as it always has, even as the modern world presses closer. For many who travel here, Machu Picchu is more than ruins, it is pilgrimage. People climb the steep steps with anticipation, hearts quickening as they rise. And when at last they reach the terraces and the full city opens before them, many weep, many fall silent, many simply breathe deeply. It is not only history they encounter, it is presence. The same presence the Incas revered, the same presence that endured in silence for centuries. Machu Picchu speaks not in words, but in stillness. It reminds us that the earth holds memory far deeper than ours, and that beauty does not vanish when forgotten. Now imagine the city not in the light of day filled with visitors, but in the quiet of night. The terraces empty, the stones silver in moonlight, the mist rising as it always has. The river still sings below, stars still shine above, and the citadel rests in its eternal rhythm. In these hours, the rediscovery fades away. The city belongs not to explorers or to tourists, but to itself, to the mountains, to the spirits that guard it. In silence, it is whole again, as it has always been. The rediscovery of Machu Picchu brought the citadel into the eyes of the world, but its true essence has never depended on discovery. Whether hidden by forest or revealed to the world, it remains what it has always been, a sanctuary of stone and sky, a bridge between earth and spirit. And so, from history, we return to nature, for beyond its stones, Machu Picchu is embraced by forest and river, orchids and hummingbirds, mist and rain. Let us now walk into that living world and see how nature still surrounds and sustains the citadel in the clouds. Chapter 5. Nature around Machu Picchu. Though Machu Picchu is known for its stones, it is embraced on all sides by living green. The citadel rests not in isolation, but within the vast reach of the Andean cloud forest, a world of constant mist, fertile soils, and abundant life. Here, nature is not backdrop, but companion, shaping the atmosphere of the ridge as surely as the Incas once shaped its terraces. To sit upon one of those terraces is to feel this embrace. Around you, the air is cool, damp with drifting cloud. Every surface seems alive, stones slick with moss, trees wrapped in vines, branches carrying orchids in bloom. Birds move through the canopy, their wings flashes of colour, their calls echoing in the quiet. The citadel is not only ruin, it is garden, forest, sanctuary. The cloud forest that surrounds Machu Picchu is unlike the dry highlands of much of the Andes. Here, moisture rises from the river valleys and clings to the slopes, creating a perpetual veil of mist. Sunlight filters through in shifting beams, making the forest glow as though lit from within. Ferns arch gracefully, moss covers roots like green velvet, and lichens hang from branches like silver threads. Bromeliads cling to tree trunks, their cups collecting rainwater where tiny frogs and insects find shelter. The air is filled with scent, the dampness of soil, the sweetness of blossoms, the freshness of rain. Everywhere, water drips and trickles, flowing from unseen springs, running in hidden channels. The forest feels both ancient and ever new, reborn each morning as mist rises and settles again. Among the forest's treasures are orchids delicate, intricate, endlessly varied. Machu Picchu and its surrounding sanctuary are home to over 300 species of orchids, more than nearly anywhere else in the world. Some are small, their flowers no larger than a fingernail, hidden among leaves like tiny secrets. Others bloom in vibrant display purple, yellow, white, or deep crimson dangling from branches, glowing against green. Their shapes are fantastical, some like stars, some like butterflies, some with forms so strange they seem otherworldly. To the Incas, orchids were not mere plants, but gifts of the earth, sacred in their beauty. Today, they remain symbols of the richness of this place, a reminder that Machu Picchu is not only stone and history, but living, breathing nature. Where orchids bloom, hummingbirds follow. The air around Machu Picchu often shimmers with their presence, tiny bodies, wings beating in a blur too fast for the eye. They dart from flower to flower, their feathers iridescent, catching light in flashes of emerald, sapphire, ruby. There are dozens of species here, each with its own colours and habits. Some perch briefly, their sharp beaks sipping nectar. Others hover endlessly, wings humming like whispered song. Their energy feels unending, yet their presence is calming, a gentle reminder of life's small wonders. To watch a hummingbird pause in midair, suspended against a backdrop of stone walls and mist, is to glimpse the meeting of fragility and endurance, delicacy and persistence. Among the most striking birds of the region is the Andean cock of the rock, the national bird of Peru. Its plumage is a vivid orange, almost glowing against the dark forest. Males gather in Lex display grounds where they call and dance, their voices echoing through the canopy. To see one of these birds is to see the forest come alive with flame. Their colour seems almost unreal, a flash of fire in the mist. For those who live here, the bird is a symbol of beauty and vitality, a spirit as much as a creature. Beyond birds, other creatures inhabit the slopes. Spectacled bears, the only bears of South America, sometimes roam the valleys, feeding on fruits and bromeliads. Rare and shy, they are seen only occasionally, their black fur marked by pale rings around the eyes. Deer move quietly among the undergrowth, foxes slip through shadows, and rabbits dart across open spaces. Reptiles bask upon stones when the sun appears, their bodies warming before clouds roll in again. Insects, too, fill the forest, glittering beetles, butterflies painted with every color, moths that seem like drifting leaves. Together, they create a web of life, each dependent upon the other, each contributing to the balance of the ridge. Far below Machu Picchu, the Urubamba River winds in a great curve, its waters restless and white. From the citadel, its roar is softened by distance, yet still audible, a deep, constant murmur rising from the valley. The river is both boundary and lifeline. It carves the valley, shapes the cliffs, and feeds the forest with its endless flow. To the Incas, it was sacred, its waters mirroring the Milky Way above. They believed the river was a reflection of the heavens, flowing not only through earth but through spirit. At night, the connection feels clear, the river below, the stars above, both moving in endless rhythm. To stand between them is to feel held within a cosmic current carried by the same flow as stone, plant, and sky. Nature around Machu Picchu is not silent. It sings, though softly. In the day, birds call from the canopy, their voices echoing through the ridges. Insects hum, wings buzzing in a constant chorus. Frogs croak from damp hollows, blending into the drip of water from leaves. At night, the sound changes. The birds grow quiet, but the river grows louder. Insects continue, their rhythm steady. Occasionally, the call of an owl rises, deep and haunting, echoing across terraces and stone walls. The forest does not sleep, it simply changes its song, shifting from day's melody to night's lullaby. What defines the nature of Machu Picchu most is not one plant or bird or stone, but the interplay of mist and light. Clouds drift constantly, curling around walls, dissolving into sunlight, returning again. Light shifts with each moment, golden in morning, silver in midday mist, crimson in the fading evening. This interplay creates endless transformation. No two moments look the same. The citadel is never fixed. It is reborn each hour, each season, each breath of mist. It is this shifting quality that gives Machu Picchu its dreamlike aura, as though it exists not entirely in this world, but partly in another. Imagine yourself now, resting on one of the terraces at the edge of the citadel. The forest spreads below, the river murmurs, the air is cool and damp. Mist curls around you, carrying the scent of wet stone and orchids in bloom. You hear the hum of insects, the distant call of a bird, the drip of water from leaf to soil. Your breath slows, your body softens, your mind drifts. The forest holds you, cradles you, invites you into its rhythm. Here, the citadel feels less like ruin and more like sanctuary, a place where human presence and nature's embrace are not separate, but intertwined. We have lingered in the forest, watched hummingbirds dart among orchids, heard the river sing, felt the mist curl around stone. Nature is not only background here, it is heart, spirit, companion. Without it, Machu Picchu would not be alive. But alongside forest and river, live stories, the myths of gods and animals, of sun and moon, of hidden treasures and spirits. The Incas wove their world not only from stone and soil, but from tales that gave meaning to every mountain and bird. Let us now turn to those legends, the myths of Viracocha and Inti, of the condor and the serpent, of gold hidden in valleys and spirits guarding the peaks. Stories that breathe still within the mist, giving voice to the silence of the citadel. Chapter 6: Myths and Legends. Every civilization builds not only with stone and soil, but with story. For the Inca, the world was alive with myth gods dwelling in sun and moon, spirits moving in rivers and mountains, animals carrying sacred meaning. Machu Picchu, set high upon its ridge, was not only a sanctuary of stone, but a sanctuary of story. To walk through its ruins is to feel those stories stir. The mist itself seems like breath, carrying whispers of legends that still linger among the terraces. They do not end with history's silence. They live on, shaping the atmosphere, making every stone seem more than stone. At the heart of Inca mythology stands Viracocha, the great creator god. From the waters of Lake Titicaca, he is said to have risen, shaping the heavens and the earth, bringing light where there was darkness, order where there was chaos. Viracocha created the sun, Inti, and the moon, Mamaquilla. He fashioned the stars, and from clay he shaped the first humans, breathing life into them. But those first beings displeased him, and so he sent a great flood, covering the land. From the waters, he began anew, creating a second people, those who became the ancestors of the Inca. In Viracocha's story, we hear echoes of the world around Machu Picchu: water and stone, light and darkness, creation and renewal. The mountains themselves feel like reminders of his shaping hand, their ridges carved with the grandeur of divine design. Of all the gods, Inti, the sun, was among the most revered. Warmth, light, growth all flowed from him. The terraces of Machu Picchu, green with maize and potatoes, owed their abundance to Inti's blessing. It is said that the Inca emperor himself, the Sapa Inca, was a child of the sun, his lineage sacred. Festivals such as Inti Raymi celebrated this bond, with offerings and rituals to ensure the sun's return, its steady rising, its continued favor upon the earth. At Machu Picchu, the Temple of the Sun reflects this devotion, its windows aligned with the solstices, catching Inti's rays at the turning of the year. To witness the first light of dawn enter that temple was to feel the god himself step into stone. Beside the sun shone Mamaquilla, the moon, goddess of night, of fertility, of the passage of time. She was honored in silver, her cycles guiding the Inca calendar, her glow a counterbalance to the brilliance of her brother, the Sunday. In the high Andes, nights are long and clear, the moon's light casting sharp shadows across ridges and terraces. For those at Machu Picchu, Mamaquilla's presence was constant, a gentle, watchful eye above the citadel. Her silver light was a balm, softening the darkness, making the sacred city glow like a dream. The Incas also found meaning in the creatures that surrounded them. 3 animals formed the pillars of their symbolic world. The condor, soaring high, it was the messenger between earth and the heavens, a guide carrying prayers upward. The puma, strong and grounded, it embodied life upon the earth, power and courage in the middle world. The serpent, hidden in the ground, it symbolized wisdom, transformation, and the mysteries of the inner world. Together, condor, puma, and serpent represented the 3 realms: sky, earth, and underworld. To live in balance with these creatures was to live in balance with existence itself. At Machu Picchu, their presence lingers. Condors still ride the thermals above the peaks, their vast wings cutting arcs across the sky. Pumas prowl in legend, their strength a reminder of survival in rugged landscapes. Serpents, coiled in carvings and stories, remind us of life's hidden depths. Perhaps the most powerful of all Inca beliefs was in the Apis, the spirits of mountains. To the Inca, every peak was alive, watching, protecting, sometimes warning. These spirits were not distant, they were immediate, surrounding Machu Picchu on all sides. Huayna Picchu, the steep peak that rises above the citadel, was one such Apu, its form looming like a guardian. Salcantay, snow-capped and gleaming in the distance, was another mighty, powerful, revered in ceremony. To live here was to live among giants, each with its own spirit, each deserving respect. Even today, many Quechua people still make offerings to the Apis, leaving coca leaves, chicha, or small tokens at shrines. They whisper prayers for health, for safe passage, for blessing. The mountains are not silent rock, they are companions, listening still. Over time, stories also grew of treasures hidden in the valleys near Machu Picchu. Some said that when the Spanish came, the Inca concealed their riches in caves and rivers guarded by spirits or curses. Others believed that the city itself was built to hide secrets, chambers of gold, artifacts of power. These tales of treasure persist, though no great hoard has ever been found. Perhaps the real treasure is not gold at all, but the city itself, the enduring stones, the terraces that still cling to the mountain, the myths that still echo in the mist. Closer to daily life, other animals carried meaning as well. The llama and the alpaca, central to Andean life, were seen as gifts from the gods. Llamas carried burdens along steep paths, their soft hums accompanying travelers. Alpacas provided warm wool, their fleece spun into garments. Both were sometimes offered in sacrifice, their lives given in reciprocity to the earth. At Machu Picchu today, llamas wander freely among the terraces. They graze calmly, their forms silhouetted against ancient walls, their presence a living bridge between past and present. To see them is to glimpse continuity life still moving among stones, as it once did centuries ago. Imagine now the citadel at night. The tourists have gone, the paths are empty, and the mist drifts once more among the stones. You sit quietly, listening to the river's murmur, watching the stars emerge. In the silence, the myths return. You can almost see the condor circling above, its wings vast in the starlight. You can feel the presence of the Apis, watching from their peaks. You can imagine the sun god rising again tomorrow, casting his light into the temple. The myths are not gone. They live here, as real as stone, as eternal as sky. What these myths teach us is not literal fact, but reverence. They remind us that to the Inca, the world was not inert, but alive. Every mountain, every river, every animal, every star carried meaning. To live well was to live in relationship, in reciprocity, in harmony. Even now, as we listen across centuries, the myths hold power. They soften the silence, they enrich the stones, they remind us that our own lives, too, are part of a greater story. We have listened to the myths, the great creator Viracocha, the sun Inti and moon Mamaquilla, the condor, puma and serpent, the spirits of mountains, the treasures hidden in legend. All of them swirl like mist around the citadel, giving it depth, giving it voice. And so, we come to the close of our journey. One chapter remains a gentle reflection that gathers stone and forest, history and myth, silence and spirit. Together, we will rest with Machu Picchu one final time and allow its eternal presence to guide us toward peace. Chapter 7. Beneath the eternal spirit of Machu Picchu, we have wandered long among these stones in the clouds. Together we have seen Machu Picchu setting its ridge between mountains, its terraces green against the mist, its river singing below. We have walked into daily life, where water flowed through channels and fires warmed homes. We have stepped into the sacred heart, where temples open to sun and stars, where mountains themselves were honored as guardians. We have followed the thread of history, from abandonment to rediscovery, and felt how the citadel emerged from silence into the gaze of the modern world. We have paused in the forests, listening to hummingbirds and watching orchids bloom, felt the air damp with mist, and rested in nature's embrace. And we have listened to myths of gods and animals, of mountains alive with spirit, of treasures both hidden and revealed. Now, as our journey reaches its close, we sit together one final time at the base of this sacred ridge, allowing all that we have seen to settle like evening mist around us. Machu Picchu teaches without words. Its lessons are carried in stone and silence. It teaches us endurance, how walls of granite, built with patience, can withstand centuries of storm. It teaches us humility, that even the greatest civilizations leave behind only fragments, whispers carried in the wind. It teaches us reverence, that mountains, rivers, and forests are not scenery, but companions alive with spirit. It teaches us impermanence, that lives pass, blossoms fall, and yet the world renews itself endlessly. And it teaches us peace, that in silence, in stillness, in presence, we can find a sanctuary for our own hearts. These lessons are not lost to time. They are here still, waiting in the stones, waiting in the mist, waiting in the quiet moments when we pause to listen. Close your eyes now, and imagine yourself sitting once more on a terrace. The night has been long, filled with stars and silence. Slowly, a faint glow begins to touch the horizon. The mist softens, turning silver. The peaks sharpen against the lightening sky. And then, the first rays of sun crest the mountains, spilling into the valley, striking the citadel in gold. Stone walls glow, terraces shine, and the river below mirrors the dawn in ripples of light. The city awakens not with noise, but with presence, with a return of color and clarity. For a moment, you feel the same awe that generations must have felt, watching light bless their sanctuary, seeing day born anew in the heart of the Andes. Machu Picchu is often called a ruin, but it does not feel ruined. It feels alive. Its stones breathe with history, its terraces with growth, its temples with silence. It is not merely a relic of the past. It is a companion of the present, a presence that continues to teach, to shelter, to inspire. When you imagine it, you are not only seeing stone, you are seeing patience, devotion, reverence. You are seeing humanity's attempt to live in balance with earth and sky. You are seeing the spirit of a people, the memory of their hands, the echo of their prayers. This is why the citadel endures not only in granite, but in imagination, in reverence, in story. It is more than a place. It is a living spirit. And perhaps, as you rest now, you may feel that spirit within yourself, the endurance of stone in your own resilience, the flow of water in your own breath, the watch of the mountains in your own stillness. Machu Picchu is not only out there, far away in the Andes, it is also within you, a reminder that you too are part of a greater rhythm, that your life, too, is woven into the fabric of earth and sky, that silence, patience, and reverence are always near, waiting whenever you pause to listen. And now, as the journey draws to a close, let us rest here together, beneath the eternal spirit of Machu Picchu. The terraces stretch before us, the mountains rise around us, the river sings below, and the sun glows softly above. Allow the citadel's presence to cradle you, to hold you in its vast embrace. Release your thoughts, release your burdens, and let yourself drift as the mist drifts, slow and gentle, across the stones. You are safe here. You are held here. You are at peace here. And to you, dear listener, Thank you for sharing this path tonight. Across distance, across time, we have walked together in this sanctuary among the clouds. If you wish to return to journeys like this, you may gently subscribe to The World Asleep. And if you feel moved, you may leave a quiet note in the comments, sharing where you listened from a constellation of resting souls beneath the same sky. But for now, let all of that drift away. Close your eyes, breathe deeply. Let the spirit of Machu Picchu remain with you as a quiet companion, even as you slip softly into sleep. Good night.